The story begins in ancient Greece, when Plato writes about Atlantis in his dialogues, Timaeus and Critias around 360 BC. These texts present a dialogue between Socrates and three philosophers who discuss Atlantis and its meaning in relation to cosmology, anthropology, and politics. Plato describes Atlantis as an island located beyond the columns of Hercules, known today as the Strait of Gibraltar. According to him, this island was larger than Libya and Asia combined, and had become a powerful empire capable of conquering large parts of Europe and Africa. The story details how this island empire, endowed with an impressive military force, finally met its end when confronting the ancient Athenians. Atlantis, according to Plato, succumbed to a series of natural disasters and sank into the sea, disappearing in only a day and night of misfortune. The island was characterized by its unique structure, a mountain surrounded by three alternating rings of sea and land, each separated by huge walls built with red, black, and white stones. In the center of Atlantis, a royal palace and a temple dedicated to Poseidon, the god of the sea, dominated the landscape, connected to the ocean by a channel that allowed the entry of ships. It is important to consider that Plato might have used the story of Atlantis as a means to express his philosophical ideas. Through this narrative, Plato explored themes of political and moral ideality and warned about the dangers of corruption and excess of power. Atlantis served as a critical mirror of Athenian society and as a reminder that even the most advanced and powerful civilizations can be eradicated by their own arrogance and natural disasters. This story not only serves to question human behavior and social organization, but also establishes the basis for centuries of speculation and mystery about whether Atlantis was ever a real place or simply a powerful parable created by Plato.
Now, let's go deeper into the description of Atlantis as Plato imagined it. This section immerses us in the physical structure and organization of a civilization that, according to myth, was astonishingly advanced for its time. According to Plato, the heart of Atlantis was a plain surrounded by mountains that descended towards the sea. This central plain was like a shield against the outside, protecting the city from the cold winds from the north. The mountains, covered with rich vegetation and abundant natural resources, housed all kinds of animals, both wild and domestic, which contributed to the self-sufficiency of the Atlanteans. The island was famous for its majestic constructions. In the center of Atlantis, there was the Temple of Poseidon, an imposing building that stood out for its grandeur and its decoration. The temple was built with blocks of red, black, and white stone extracted from the local quarries and adorned with gold, silver, and orichalcum, a mythical metal that, according to Plato, shone with a reddish glow. Inside the temple, there was a gigantic statue of Poseidon riding a chariot pulled by six-winged horses, dominating the sea around him. Around the central temple, concentric circles of earth and water extended. They were three alternating rings of earth and three of water, connected to each other by bridges and tunnels wide enough to allow the passage of boats. This design not only was aesthetically impressive, but it also served as a formidable defensive barrier against any invader. The outer channel was deep and wide enough to allow the passage of the largest warships of the time. The infrastructure of Atlantis reflected a highly organized and technologically advanced society. They had a complex system of freshwater collection coming from natural springs and aqueducts, which irrigated the entire island, ensuring supply for agriculture and human consumption throughout the year. In addition, the Atlanteans implemented hydraulic engineering measures that allowed them to control floods and manage their water resources with amazing efficiency. The social organization of Atlantis was also remarkable. Plato describes a society that, at its height, was governed by kings who adhered to a code of laws inscribed by the ancestors on an orichalcum column in the Temple of Poseidon. These laws emphasized justice, piety, and community service, reflecting the ideals of a society that valued collective well-being as much as individual prosperity. This political and social system, combined with its advanced technology and natural wealth, positioned Atlantis as one of the most powerful and resplendent civilizations of its time, according to Plato's narrative. Through its description, it is presented to us not only a portrait of a lost utopia, but also a mirror of the ambitions and fears of Plato's own Athenian society. The story of Atlantis did not end with Plato. Over the centuries, it has captured the imagination of countless historians, archaeologists, and adventurers, each contributing their own theory about the possible location of Atlantis and the veracity of the story told by Plato. One of the most popular theories is that Atlantis was based on the island of Santorini, also known as Thera. This Greek island was the site of one of the largest volcanic eruptions in history, which resulted in the destruction of the Minoan civilization on the island. Some believe that this catastrophe could have inspired Plato due to the similarities between the devastating effects of the eruption and the description of the cataclysm that supposedly destroyed Atlantis. Other researchers have looked towards the Atlantic, suggesting that Atlantis could have been located in what is now the Banco de Azores, a series of underwater mountains located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. They argue that this location matches Plato's description of an island located beyond the columns of Hercules. More recent and adventurous theories have proposed even more exotic locations, such as Antarctica, arguing that changes in the Earth's crust could have moved the location of Atlantis over millions of years. While others suggest that Atlantis was never a physical island, but rather a cultural or spiritual metaphor, a symbolism of an ideal society that was lost due to corruption and moral decline. Modern research is not just limited to theories, it also includes expeditions and scientific studies equipped with advanced technology such as sonar, satellites, and underwater mapping. These tools have allowed scientists and archaeologists to scan the oceans and coasts for evidence that could be hidden under the water, although to date, none has produced conclusive evidence that confirms the existence of Atlantis. The search for Atlantis has also raised significant questions about what we consider historical evidence and how we interpret ancient texts. The desire to find a lost civilization has led many to reconsider historical interpretations and to explore new methodologies in archaeology. Although the true existence of Atlantis remains a matter of debate, research and exploration continue, demonstrating that the legacy of Atlantis is as enduring as the mystery that surrounds it.
Atlantis has transcended the pages of Plato's dialogues to become a cultural symbol that has influenced numerous works of literature, cinema, and art over the centuries. Its story has served as a powerful metaphor for themes of the rise and fall of civilizations, warnings against human hubris, and the eternal search for lost utopias. In literature, Atlantis has inspired authors since Francis Bacon, who in his work, New Atlantis of 1627, imagines a perfect society on a distant island. More recently, in the Percy Jackson series by Rick Riordan, Atlantis appears as part of an ancient world full of mythical gods and monsters. These interpretations reflect the continuing fascination with the idea of an advanced and mysteriously lost civilization. In film and television, Atlantis has been portrayed in many ways, from the classic adventure film Atlantis in 1961 to Disney's groundbreaking Atlantis, The Lost Empire, which presented a vibrant, technologically advanced civilization that hides under the sea. Each adaptation offers a unique view of how this civilization could have been and how it would have interacted with other cultures and technologies. Additionally, Atlantis has captured the imagination of various conspiracy theories and spiritual movements. For some, it represents advanced ancestral knowledge that, if rediscovered, could offer solutions to modern problems. In this context, Atlantis becomes not only an object of historical curiosity, but also a hope for a better future. This myth also invites us to reflect on our own civilization. In a world where we face global challenges such as climate change and geopolitical tensions, the story of Atlantis resonates as an echo from the past that warns us about the danger of arrogance and negligence. It reminds us that, like Atlantis, no society is immune to destruction if it ignores the principles of sustainability and coexistence. Atlantis remains in our culture as a seductive mystery, a legend that defies time and continues to inspire generations. Its story, so rich in symbolism and meaning, continues to encourage artists, writers, scientists, and mystery seekers to imagine and reimagine what could once have been and what might have been lost. We have traveled through the history and legend of Atlantis, from its origins in Plato's dialogues, through its descriptive characteristics and structure, to modern theories and its profound impact on popular culture. This enigmatic island has captured the imagination of generations, driving tireless searches and serving as a muse for countless creative works. Atlantis, more than a simple geographical location, is a powerful symbol of the limits and possibilities of human civilization. It speaks to us of the greatness that societies can reach and of the danger inherent in their fall. Through the ages, this myth has served us as a mirror, reflecting the aspirations and warnings of each generation that has contemplated it. Did Atlantis really exist? Perhaps we will never know for sure. What we do know is that the story of Atlantis challenges us to reflect on our own existence and the legacy we will leave. It urges us to consider how, in our own advancement and search for perfection, we could be approaching our own version of Atlantis. I invite you to continue exploring, to continue questioning, and, above all, to continue learning from the stories that have shaped our world. If this journey through Atlantis has awakened your curiosity or inspired new ideas, share your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating explorations on our channel. Thank you for joining us in this immersion in one of the most enduring mysteries of humanity. Until next time.